Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Cannabis Legalization News. We're going to be explaining some laws so that you can change them. We have a federal update, that's our lead story, and then many others. And stick around to the end, we have an interesting off-color out of cannabis, which is one of the uncool aspects of the industry, especially when it's a very limited market, whether it's limited at the state or at the municipal level. And thanks again, shout out to Collateral Base. They are sponsoring this content. And remember, considering we talk about the legal cannabis industry, you kind of have to be 21 to enjoy it. So let's go. What's happening, Miggy? How are you? Happy Wednesday.
We made it.
We made it. We made it, and we have a whole bunch of news. The news out of the federal government, and you really thought it was going to be something, but then it turns out that it was a pretty good nothing burger to start off the week. And this is from 6 days ago. And so they were hyping this story after last week's show. Marijuana Moment was reported on it. So the Attorney General, the Justice Department said they will address marijuana issues in the days ahead.
Good damn.
Yep.
So how is this a nothing burger?
You see, then what happened was they didn't. And so they still haven't really said anything, but it had to do with the budget that they had. And so the budget came out, and then the budget still says what it used to have said.
Hey, Tom, your audio, is it me or you that the audio is coming in and out?
I don't know. For me, I hear everything just fine. Is everybody tuned in, likes, subscribes? Let us know if something is not going right with the audio.
Do we sound good to you? Like I just thought it seemed like you're distancing in and out, and it could have been my connection or whatever too. I was just trying to check, like especially when it's on a landline. You're like, that's the frustrating part. When you're plugged in hardwire, you're like, there's nothing else I can do. It's just the world that's all fucked up.
Yeah, okay. Audio is coming in good on their end, and so hear everything. Man. All right, well, it may just be yours, maybe simply. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully he can pay attention and contribute. But then, so that was it. Merrick Garland said that he was going to be doing something, and it was vague and it was couched, and there really wasn't much that was going on. And then the budget stuff came out, and so the budget did not include anything new. And so the department was it.
Honestly, what can the Attorney General do besides set a precedent as far as like, okay, you're going to go after the marijuana people? Can they can't deschedule, right?
No, in theory, they actually probably could. The Department of Justice and the Attorney General, I never used the Controlled Substances Act in court, ever. Like, I've got back into court recently, but it's on like what it always is, contracts, business. But in the Controlled Substances Act, they have given a lot of power to certain aspects of the executive branch. So like the Biden could direct Merrick Garland to begin the descheduling process, under my understanding of it.
Well, I haven't
really researched it in a while.
But does he have to direct it? Could Garland just say upon like, hey, this is the right thing to do? Like, could that be a thing?
Probably not. Probably not. But they can say what their priority and enforcement priorities are. And they've had that a lot, but this is some appropriations that came out. And so the Department of Justice in that appropriations was asking for money like they do. And then they said they aren't going to expand the defunding. And so I was hopeful that the defunding would have been expanded by the Justice Department. And so right now, so the text they released on Tuesday didn't include it. Didn't prevent the Justice Department from using its funds to get in the way of the adult use industry. So that's still the law. They haven't changed the terminology from medical into state licensed or something like that. But they did. Go ahead.
I was just saying it's kind of a waste of time. Like the fact that they didn't do that, right? Because I mean, do we really think they're going to step up at this point, right? The toothpaste is out of the tube, right? They're not going to be able to like start raiding stores just because of the CSA.
Well, I hope so, but then maybe Merrick Garland's still going to say something. Maybe he's going to have a new type of Cole memo, the Garland memo, we'll call it.
You're right.
And it would specify how the Department of Justice is going to use or not use the allocated funds that it has at its disposal. And so like right now, they could just start shutting it all down.
Yeah.
Because they have the money to do it. It's just they don't have the political will or direction to do it.
Well, and I think too the DEA, the Justice Department, most of the DEA, they're trying to create jobs, right? They're worried about losing their job. They're like, if we get rid of weed and making that a crime, what's going to happen next? That's like the stupid stories about like the poor dogs, the canines that are like, oh no, they've trained all their life to like fuck with people. Now they can't. Like,
Yeah. Hey, didn't anybody ever think of the police dogs in the whole legalization rubric? While you're trying to do the right things, those dogs will be out of jobs, but they will still be very good boys. Maybe the
silly
girls
shit.
too. I don't know. It's not all the federal cannabis legalization news that we had this week. So far, it's been a nothing burger or inference on Merrick Garland because they haven't said anything about their enforcement. And then the budget that they request from the Department of Justice, they still say they have money to be able to shut down the industry, not the medical industry. And there was a little something else as well out of Congress this week. So Congress is tackling hemp challenges, CBD marketing, marijuana research, and psychedelics in their spending legislation. And so that was reported earlier today.
I mean, this stuff we all talked about already, right? Like the marketing part, talking about the wellness issue, right? They're going to be looking at like what you can say for it, right? What you can say and back up, right? For alternative treatments.
Yep. Let's hope so. But that's what they're saying. Marketing of CBD, updates of research for medical marijuana for vets, and investigations into alternative treatments. That would probably be the psychedelics for the PTSD. That's great, all well and good. And the funding that they are granting is for the Food and Drug Administration, let's see, Veteran Affairs, and also the United States Department of Agriculture.
And they're also talking about hot hemp, right?
Hot hemp, but they did a decent regulation, and so now they do have the hemp extraction regulation. So the committee, Congress intentionally expanded the definition of hemp to make sure that in-process materials aren't criminalized. This is big news out of Congress, which is great.
Yeah.
So like if you do enjoy the hemp products and did not want to be criminalized, good news. They've done a little bit more, and they said hemp extract regulation. So the committee is concerned about that. Therefore, the committee directs the USDA to coordinate directly with the DEA to present the industry with guidance and information on the in-process extracted material.
It's like another layer of legalizing CBD, right? Can you imagine, like, when we do legalize cannabis, marijuana, weed, whatever you want to call it?
This is it.
It's gonna be like just a step by step. How long has it been since the Farm Act was 2018?
Right.
We're 4 years into it, and then how many states have been messing with people with Delta 8? CBD
I got an
products?
email from a client this week regarding Oregon creating a prohibition on synthetic cannabinoids, and would Delta 8 be included in that under their understanding of the definition of synthetic cannabinoid.
Well, the definition also matters with the word synthetic, right? Because if you're actually getting it from the actual hemp plant, it's not synthetic, is it? But if you're doing like Marinol, where you're doing like a lab creation, then that's synthetic, in my opinion. Wouldn't you think? Like, isn't synthetic itself?
That's right. And so in our legal opinion letter, and if you want one of those, you can email me at tom@collateralbase.com. Or just visit collateralbase or cannabisindustrylawyer.com. And the point was that they were derived from that hemp, and therefore they're also extracted from the definition of hemp pursuant to the Farm Bill and the new AK Futures case. And so that AK Futures case also really helped to provide more protection to the cannabinoid derivative businesses, provided that, of course, those cannabinoids were derived from licensed hemp farmers that grew the hemp according to the rules, and then this new extraction guidance would really help.
Something from this article is pretty cool. So, for the most recent VA spending bill report, the committee said it recognizes that the department has taken steps to clarify that simply working in the legal marijuana market does not render a veteran ineligible for a home loan benefit under VA. And it's working with lenders to improve communication with eligible lending institutions to reduce confusion. That's amazing because you have to tell them where your income is, and you're turning people into criminals who shouldn't be.
Yes,
right.
That's and then the legalization, and so now you have this process where people, and then banks will still say, you're a criminal, kick them out, and then the federal government will say, you're a criminal, but you're a licensed and regulated criminal, and so we're not going to enforce it. But we are going to tax you heavily, and you might get kicked out of your bank. It's just really, really frustrating that they're letting it happen, but they ain't helping it. They're exploiting it. They aren't helping it like get there quicker, so that all these silly little things go away. No, and they just kind of watch.
Well, it's not a common sense approach. It's who has the biggest dollar approach, who has the bigger investments, and what's, how many states have legalized it where it was a grassroots effort?
Oh, the vast majority of all states that have ever legalized the cannabis plant did so by the voters' decree.
No, but
They
I mean,
went
like,
to
the funding,
the ballot initiative.
right? But like for 502 here in Washington State, there was a lot of out of state money that was involved. As like, and we were the first state, me and us in Colorado were the first two states at the same time to legalize it, right? Which is kind of weird because our state took extra precautions with DUIs and home grows, whereas Colorado was like, all right, you're allowed home grows and their DUIs.
70-30 rules. I love that rule. Like you have
Yeah.
to grow 70% of your inventory. That makes it small right there,
So, but the thing is, for us here, like I know several times there was grassroots organizations that failed, but then when you get money out of state and investors, people, all these proposed MSO people that are in the background, they're putting money into these states because they want to see, they're trying to change the law before they put their money into the market or whatever, I'm just, the point being, it just costs money to legalize it. No one else is putting the effort because grassroots ain't working.
Well, I mean, I guess that can bring us to our next story, which I think we should be able to finish in 8 minutes before it's 20 past the hour.
Yeah.
This one was trending this week. Let's talk about it. What up, everybody? Cannabis industry lawyer and Miggy here on Cannabis Legalization News, reminding you that New York is spending $200 million on marijuana social equity properties. Did you see this news this week?
No, so that's
Didn't?
amazing.
Oh, it's a good one. And so this is out of mjbizdaily.com. John Schroeder is the chief correspondent on it. They are helping to set up and inject $200 million into the local marijuana real estate market, leasing up to 150 retail properties that would be given to social equity businesses, giving them a leg up in the state's new recreational market. Now, that's great. I really also enjoy how New York has so far only defined the social equity as the arrest. And that's the one that I really believe in, because the 10th Amendment is not going to be, I always say that. The 10th Amendment has nothing to do with the Dormant Commerce Clause. But sometimes, because I'm an idiot, I will refer to the 10th Amendment when I mean the Dormant Commerce Clause. And that challenge, because it's kind of like a states' rights aspect of it, where one state is self-dealing against another state, and then you're not allowed to do that. And so those lawsuits take forever, and they could still, in theory, come to New York, but they don't have the geographic locations that states like Illinois or New Jersey have, where you have to prove long-time residency, and so that literally is discriminating against out-of-state residents.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get the that's a great equity part when it comes to, because social equity is very divisive term, right? When people talk about it in the business, but real estate, this is huge, right? Because this is really investment should be done. It should be given an investment, and like you said, the people who are arrested. So, because I mean, that's the biggest barrier when it comes to like, hey, I'm going to apply for this license, and here's my pretend place I'm going to be living at.
Oh yeah, but
that kind of change.
I know, but we get to talk about some New York dispensaries and how much we think it'll actually cost. So they're going to allow this, which is great, but then the application and the requirements that they have put out are very, very high. And so the Dormitory Authority of the state of New York, the agency overseeing the disbursements of the funds, and so they're scouting locations and they're looking for these real estate locations, but then they put out guidance actually for this state. And I'm going to go find that, because I looked at it yesterday, but it says a PDF. So I have to like find it, open it, and then I can share the screen.
Well, here's something I find interesting too about this story. If you go, I don't know if you already have it still up. I have it up from my side, but this, what they mentioned is the CBRE group. The
CBRE, right? It's a very large commercial real estate group.
Well, it's not just commercial real estate. So they also do like in manufacturing. They're almost like a temp agency, like they fill in spaces in manufacturing. So it's just interesting to see a big firm like that, who's got a big presence in tech and other industries that I've seen in manufacturing, that they're investing in cannabis. Like that's kind of neat.
Yeah, and a lot of it's pretty neat. So again, just before we dig into the little thing that we have, Just again, the news story out of Marijuana Business Daily was New York's going to be spending $200 million on marijuana social equity properties with all these leases for the retail properties, up to 150 of these retail properties. And then we were talking about the Dormitory Authority of the state of New York, and this is what they actually released. See that there it is, the Dormitory Authority for the state of New York, the DANSI. And let's kind of zoom in on that, and then let's spend a little bit of time before it's 420 discussing what is going to go in to these. And so they want it to be 3,000 to 5,000 square feet. And then they have, here's what you need. You need the sales area with reception, check-in, branding wall, kiosks. They tell you about the back of the house, product receiving, cannabis processing, vaults, quarantine, office space, general, janitor's closet, break room, mechanical room, if necessary. And then they talk about the security system. So look at this.
Yeah.
Video cameras with 24-hour recording ability to produce a still color photo at 9600 DPI with a date and timestamp. You see, the security system is going to be expensive. Look at that.
I mean, all together, right? So even if you give us property,
right?
Very much thank you for the
property that this is going to be in the millions. I mean, like the stuff that they need, like the doors, the minimum duties doors. They have so many things that are going into even the HVAC.
Is that going to be included with the social equity thing, or is that just
these are the rules?
Okay,
like, but then it's kind of like a cart before the horse, or like one hand clapping. This is the state saying that they're going to do these rules and that they're also going to pay for it. They have the $200 million. That's just, ridiculous. But then what is the application going to look like? Because the application process now, if it's a complete application, great. Then it really just is, can you get the application done and qualify as social equity? And then if they set it up in such a way, where you qualify in social equity, is somebody going to file a lawsuit for saying that this is only available to in-state New York residents, and therefore it discriminates against me for not living in New York, and do the same type of 10th Dormant Commerce Clause challenge?
I think the players who are going to be involved, who want to be involved, are already there, right? Mm-hmm. So like, you're not going to get a lot of out-of-state. I mean, you already have the out-of-state money that's going to be involved, probably, right? I'm pretty sure Cresco's and GTIs, and all
but they need to know that they have the window and they have the ability to get in, and I think they probably will. But look at all this stuff. Oh, look, Benjamin Moore paint. Now that's what you call
specific.
Well, I was going to call it rent-seeking behavior, where you put yourselves into the regulations themselves, like BioTrack THC did for the seed-to-sale software in Illinois.
It's kind of like when you have a professor and they want to sell you their book.
It's a very nice. It sounds like a very nice, very safe, very secure backup generator. Don't forget about that. Remote access control, secure doors, 24/7 remote alarm, camera surveillance, and camera reporting equipment. And they also prefer if that HVAC for the data room and the vault and the point of sale stations are on that backup generator. This stuff ain't cheap, yo.
At least $1 million.
Oh, yeah. But I love that they have given this guidance, and then they say that they're going to build the 200 million of them. So this guy, it's interesting. Somebody's going to make money, because that $200 million is going to go to build some very nice dispensaries. And then because the tenants, then what? They just lease with it. And so now the state of New York's turned it into like a cash flow for themselves. They're going to be their own cannabis real estate investment trust.
Yeah. No, they gamified it. They figured out how to do it, man.
We'll see.
I mean, I don't know if the lawsuits are really going to be the way that you think for this one, because it's going to be such a big market, because there's going to be so much potential for, the culture, right? Like Fucking High Times was based out of there, but it was legal the whole time. Like, it's insane. How long did it take them to get to California to open a headquarters there?
More than a little bit.
Yeah.
More than a little bit. Hey, we've made it, everybody. It's 20 past the hour. That 420 somewhere was brought to you by the Collateral Base, where you can retain us and use the Collateral Base system to really bank your business well. And what types of things go into the bank at the Collateral Base? Your documents. A lot of documents do. And so go ahead and you can find out how to retain us there by visiting collateralbase.com. Moving on with the news.
Nice. We got some pot stocks.
Pot stocks.
Choo. So you got it laid up, or yeah, sweet.
I do, but then hopefully I'm not going to get hit with a whole bunch of stuff. I just opened it. 4 top stocks for your list of marijuana stocks in June 2022.
So we got Curaleaf Consortium,
Verano, and Air Wellness, and then an ad. You always get an ad. And so Curaleaf is OTC. See these all OTCs? All these OTCs, that's over the table or over the counter, over the counter. They're all traded derivatives of their stock in Toronto. So they're all listed in Toronto, and then they trade over the counter in the United States. Curaleaf is a huge multi-state operator with 134 retail locations. They're very large, and especially in the limited market states. Consortium, I've never heard of them. Okay, they're in Florida, and now in Texas, which doesn't have an industry, Michigan and Pennsylvania. So I think that these people are probably going to be committing rent-seeking behavior in Texas. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Well, and this is interesting because we just talked about last month about how they're hitting a new low, and then this article has a nice little blurb that MSOs in the United States recently exceeded all other income generators on the planet since the epidemic. They fared better than the Canadian LPs, so that's why they're covering these 4 American stocks to look at, which is interesting.
That's right, and the stocks are all on sale, super sale, if you really want to. They're down about 70% year over year, which is fairly nuts. If you want to look at charts of these stocks, do we have any charts of them? I wonder. Do we have a chart? Do we have a 1-year chart? There you go. Let's show a 1-year chart up here for marijuanastocks.com. Shout out to them. This is Consortium. This is a penny stock, and so it's down. It was trading at $1 about a year ago, and now you can get it for 20 cents, which means that it has only sold off by about 80%. That's how can you tell if it's cheap? It's off its high by 80%. Here's Air Wellness. I don't think that's going to be as bad, but let's go for a year.
Oh, wow.
Air Wellness has traded down. It was trading at 30. Now it's at $5, and this is they actually have PE ratios now. They didn't used to have PE ratios because they were just such growth-based companies. And so their earnings per share, you see where it says negative $4.22. That means in the last quarter, this company lost $4.22 a share. How many shares are there? Total shares, $69.13 million million shares. And so that's a lot of loss right there. And so now you can kind of see why the marijuana stocks are down by approximately 78% over the course of the year. They lose money. Welcome to the industry.
Is it a coincidence that cannabis stocks and crypto have taken a dive this past month? I don't know.
But safe banking would change a lot of that. A lot of the profitability of these cannabis companies overnight would get changed. Because of how much they get squeezed by IRC 280E.
Well, and I think safe banking would help establish a lot of MSO proper. Like right now, they're just boats. Their money's being thrown into it, whereas they have to rethink their business plans and how to be a fair competition, because eventually that's what's going to happen. With federal legalization.
Will it happen? Will fair competition happen? I don't know. It's business, and so part of me goes, no frickin' way. No frickin' way is that going to happen, because that's not how jaded business works. People in business, they always say, I'm looking for an opportunity that I could exploit, and that's all they kind of do. And so I just don't think that they're going to share. That's one of the problems. People, they never have enough. They always want more. Oh
wow! I mean, you can never have.
People have a real hard time with what a concept of enough is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't understand people who some people got a work drive where they just even after they make their first millions or whatever, they just keep doing shit. Or
they just keep taking shit. Some people just frickin' rob and lie and cheat and steal. But not all of them. A lot of them, but not all of them. Yeah.
Do a little name that strain.
Hey, name that strain would be pretty darn fun. It's either name that strain or international news. Which one? I thought we had the international news before the name that strain, but we can just
Okay, yeah, totally. No,
it depends. It depends. Let's see. What else do we have in there? Decline in the strain history. Crap, I wasn't expecting. Cannabis. Yeah, let's do international and then name that strain.
Yeah.
Cool. You got that one?
Oh, the international.
In Russia sucks news. We have some international news here on cannabis industry lawyers. Well, that's what I get for changing to too many brands that we're trying to hype. So Russia has sentenced a United States citizen to 14 years in prison for cannabis he says was prescribed. A former employee of the U.S. Embassy in Moscow has been handed a 14-year prison term in Russia for illegal drug trafficking after he was caught entering the country with medical cannabis that was prescribed to him after back surgery. So this is being reported out of Radio Free Europe on June 17th of this year.
That's horrible. Fogel is one of several Americans incarcerated in Russia in recent years on charges that their family, supporters, and in some cases, U.S. government had said appeared trumped up. So, I mean, maybe how much weed would you take? I would not take weed to Russia, dude. Like,
I was hitchhiking in Russia, like in 2005, before I went to law school. And so I don't think I go hitchhiking in Russia no more.
What?
Smoke a lot of hash there, too.
Yeah, but that's because of the present, like, what do you call it? The fucking dictatorship going on there.
Yeah, that was back when Putin was not as crazy as he is now.
Yeah, but like, remember that gallery I went to was highlighting all like glass art, like pipes and bongs and shit. One of them was a piece made, half of it was made in Russia and half of it was made in the United States. And the guy could literally have gone to jail for just producing a pipe in Russia. So it kind of added a little nuance of this piece that was really beautiful and shiny. But yeah, this is fuck Russia. I don't know what to say. Sorry, Russians, but
yeah, basically. I mean, I can't stress that one enough. Hey, if you guys agree, don't forget to smash those likes and click subscribe.
Well, you know, it's funny.
Well, go ahead. Like we can.
Well, I saw an article besides this one that said because the war that Russia has created has expedited Ukraine's legalization. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yep, and then of course they also mention the other American detained by the authorities, basketball star Brittany Griner. She's been arrested in February for a vape cartridge, and she's still in custody.
And hers was CBD, I believe.
Wrongfully detained, but this has been happening. This has been happening where there's no justice in Russia. You know, we're so lucky that we actually have justice here. When you lose an election, there's all these safeguards that you can have before, like, you know, people need to like swear their oath to the Constitution, and America is a company. You know, it's a corporation, and so there are rules.
But the problem, well, you should. But the thing is, the ones that say they do or don't, right? So it's like if I tell you I'm the best in the world, most likely I'm an asshole. So it's like the rule thing about like law and order. Well, that's the whole point of like legalization, right? Most cannabis consumers, you know, there's a variety of people that smoke weed, whether they be from like hobos to rocket scientists. You know, it's all, there's no one stigma, one person that is a consumer. You know, like your smartphone or broccoli.
Speaking of broccoli,
yeah,
and Russia sucking, I guess we can move into the name that strain.
All right, let's do that.
Don't take that one to Russia.
Oh shit! What happened?
Yeah, look at that. That is gorgeous. That's what we're fighting for, everybody. Right there. And if you're listening at home, you are missing a visual of a great nugget. So if you're on the podcast, cool. Next time, check us out on YouTube. About a half hour in, we play Name That Strain and then describe the weed. It's got some purples. It's got some fuzzy purples on there. You know, there's some sugar crystals on it.
I bet it's dense too. I bet you that little nodulars just like pop off when you break it off, you know, like little balls. Oh, I love when that happens.
Yeah. You said little balls.
Yeah, it's a girl.
It doesn't matter. It is. It's a girl. So they're bracks. But the juvenile nature of people immediately. Just a 14-year-old giggling. And so yeah, that's it. The pistols look great on it as well, and it does have some green, so it's kind of got a nice little purple and also some green. Nice trim. Hasn't been worked over very often, so
I would
good looking.
love to smoke that one. Do we have any hints?
Let's go over, because I don't have the name that strain up, and I don't have the talent to be able to just say, hey, I got this. It's going to be this one.
Yeah, let me look it up.
No, it's everything, and this one is very. It's a lot of crosses. It's a lot of crosses.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, there's some gelato 47. There's some jet fuel gelato, some thin mint Girl Scout cookies, even some sunset sherbet in that. That is a flavor bomb. So if you grind that up and smoke it, you literally go to Flavor Town.
Sam Quick, you're so close. So close.
So close. So close. Hot chocolate, kind of, not really. Maybe if it was in a different language. And I don't think that's a hot drink, but it is a drink.
No.
It's named after a drink with a Spanish name.
Actually, it can be warm. Not hot.
I don't know. I haven't had that drink in years.
I had it like last week.
Well, there you go. And we can kind of go over its and talk about its nose. It's a sweet mix of earthy, floral, and spicy notes, complemented by delicate, creamy notes. And whatever that kind of reminds me of the drink, that and it's named after a drink.
Flowering tops have leaves that vary from light to dark, green hues and deep purple shades. Brown. Oh, Andy
Smith
and Catherine
from way downtown, and Catherine.
Wow. And boys, like all three.
Oh yes, that is the horchata. The horchata it is. Flurry of white resinous trichrome crystals. And that's what I would say about it. Flowering tops, leaves that vary from light to dark, green hues and deep purple shades, as you can see in that illustration nugget. Flowering tops of leaves that occasionally found with long orange hair round out the deep color spectrum of the colas. So it's a cross from mochi and jet fuel gelato. Mochi, aka mochi gelato, aka gelato 47, is across the thin mint Girl Scout cookies and sunset sherbet. And jet fuel gelato has more of a mysterious background, but is believed to be jet fuel crossed with gelato. A lot of gelatos in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I'm smoking a gelato right now too.
Shit. Wouldn't surprise me. We've had jet fuel. I don't have any gelatos.
I like actually I like any weed. It's a fucking kid.
I like any good weed. I'm not gonna lie. And if you guys do too, go visit us at facebook.com/freethc. You will be warned not once, not twice, but 3 times that we might not be safe, which really grinds my gears. Really does. But they haven't deleted the page.
Right? 10 years they have deleted us. Damn potheads.
They've just made it say, so if you try to visit our page, you may be asked if you have a drug problem. And I don't think you do. I just think that the country has a law problem. Yeah.
The country has a
law problem.
An endocannabinoid system deficiency. It's a law problem. It's a morality problem because the law is wrong. Right?
I believe that the law is also wrong.
Yeah, damn block this porn fucking blocker.
Yeah, gotta always do that. And then here's some crap that I didn't see coming, which of course.
Oh, I saw this coming.
Oh, it's irony.
Personal studies,
everybody.
Oh, got you.
Hey, it's Tom and Miggy from Cannabis Legalization News with some shit you weren't expecting. Did you know that teen marijuana use dropped dramatically in Colorado in 2021?
I mean, it's not when you make something taboo, kids aren't going to be as interested in it.
You better not go do that, kids. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do it now. Don't tell me what not to do, Dad. And so it's the forbidden fruit syndrome.
Well, think about this too.
It's like no
even when in Colorado specifically, right? Like so, right? Even here in Washington State with my kids, right? They see that the influence of alcohol versus tobacco or versus cigarettes or.
Cigarettes are a good example as well because you can slate your desire to smoke things. I think some humans just have an innate desire to pretend they're a dragon.
Well, yeah, that too. But do you know a cigarette smoker? Because if they can't have a smoke, like it's as addictive as heroin.
Addicted. Yeah,
it is.
So they get nervous, and then me, I will forget to smoke weed that day, and I'll be like, oh. Yeah, I guess I haven't done that. Oh man, I could go for some. That sounds great, especially this. It's horchata.
Nice. But or the only time like you really like realize like if you don't have weed, you're just like, oh, just that sucks. You're not gonna be all like, hey, want to get a little backyard action going on here so I can get some money for this? No, cannabis is not that kind of addiction. It's more of the addiction of fighting the bullshit.
It's coffee. Not even though, because like if I don't have caffeine, I'd probably get a headache. And if I don't have weed, I might get a little agitated. But the forbidden fruit syndrome, and so now that they've put cannabis where it belongs in a regulated, hey, this isn't all that cool. People are very often use it for medicinal purposes. Shelf, you can see the chart, and that is the usage. And so since they've legalized it, I believe they legalized it in 14. Now, I mean, they did earlier, but I think in 14 is when they actually became effective and like started retail sales in Colorado. And then you can see the usage rates are down and to the right. Yeah.
And again, you're just showing kids that like when they do, because they're gonna do it, with or without you knowing it, and when they have the experience, go, hey, this is all the hopeless about. This is stupid. Kind of like HempFest. You're like, hey, 200,000 people all smoking weed, and no one's like, there's nothing crazy. It's just a hot sun and people enjoying themselves. It was like a big picnic, with music. But that's the thing about cannabis, with all the stigma and disinformation that we're fighting, is because it's like the difference between having a lounge, a smoking lounge, in a bar. The bar is gonna, watch out, Oktoberfest.
Smoking lounges.
Yeah,
Nevada coming. There's only going to be like 20 licenses of it, so they're even going to get restricted and like expensive on the consumption lounges in Nevada. But the 150 dispensaries that they're going to build for the social equity applicants in New York, wow, those look nice. But then if you aren't going to be one of those, and that's what they're going to require, get out your checkbook, because it's going to be expensive.
Well, it's all going to cost money, I think, no matter what. That's the unfortunate part of this. Is like any sort of infrastructure, it costs money. You don't have restaurants. Like I couldn't just open a taco stand tomorrow. I need to meet clean codes, pay.
But there's a
licenses
path to get open to. You could do it fairly quickly, and then so the transferability of it and doing it fairly quickly. I really applaud New Mexico and to a certain extent New Jersey. New Jersey has one little, we're going to talk about it in How to Cannabis, because I think that there's going to be this type of thing happening, and you hear it in the news. You heard it out of Massachusetts where they have a similar setup. And so some states have this dual licensing structuring. Shout out to all the dual licensing structuring states. That's California, Michigan, New Jersey now, and Massachusetts. And those were I think those are all. But anyway, the municipalities, they get a little rigged. They get a little corrupt. Sometimes, not always. It was a donation.
Yeah, free money, man.
Political contribution, please.
Got a study out of a entrepreneur.
Oh, is that the one that we skipped over?
Yeah.
That's another good one. Let's go over to more of these types of studies that are in the trends that you wouldn't expect. So it's adolescent stuff. Let's go over to the Ganjapreneur, bring them some stuff. Don't forget to sign up for their updates. 39% of millennial cannabis users consume the product multiple times per day. A new Frontier data report found that 39% of millennials that consume cannabis usually do it multiple times a day.
I say take the word millennial out of it, and you got a good study.
I guess, but I also like, and shout out to New Frontier data, because when you are creating market summaries, you need data, and they can provide it for you so that you can try to figure out what your TAM is, for example, your total addressable market.
No, I get that part, but with the cannabis consumer, how there's not one age or money bracket or whatever. I think a lot of times we group age brackets, millennial, boomers, whatever thing, Gen X, Z's, and shit like that, and really we're all the same shit. It's all the same. The only things that we have different are like our childhood TV shows and shit like that. But we're all going to end up being the same asshole no matter what.
Oh, yeah. There's just all one big pile of assholes, and so they go from one spectrum of asshole all the way to the other spectrum of asshole. Very few people that are nice. They're usually somewhere in the middle being exploited by the assholes on either side. Welcome to America. There is no healthcare.
Yeah, but then I think most cannabis consumers are doing it multiple times a day, right? Like
Yeah.
I know myself being a one long time cannabis consumer, I have a couple bowls in the morning, a couple bowls in the afternoon if I can, and like always in the evening. You know, if I have it, I'm smoking it. Period.
Yeah, I tend to enjoy mine, but the stuff that I have right there, that's that purple banana from Purple City Genetics, and I want to give a shout out to them. And that stuff, I only need to go through like a bowl of that a day. But let's go over some of the findings of this study because data, why not? 49% of millennials shopping in the legal market spend between 50 and $200 a transaction at cannabis retailers. 39% of millennials who use cannabis do so more than once a day, but there is a greater disparity here between consumption rates of men and women compared to other groups.
Huh.
77% of millennials can substitute cannabis for sleep medications. For example,
Wow.
sleep-related cannabinoids like CBN and THCP, and they are more aware of it. And 66% of millennials complies the nation's law generally believe that strain is important when purchasing cannabis, which is great. And so sales will be up in the future, and the customer should be more sophisticated and understand what a diverse product offering cannabis products are.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like because I think the millennial mark is the age group growing up with legalization, right, in different states. They're also understanding the plant better. They're also understanding like wellness and plant science, right? This plant,
They teach it now. And so, like you talk about school, they have education in college now. So they're actually finally starting to teach the plant. So you know that more people are going to come online that have none of that stigma or substantially less of that stigma because they were taught in school the exact opposite that people like you and me were taught in school in the 80s or so, where it was just say no. And you're like, hey, we're just all being brainwashed to this. Shouldn't we question their authority? Never. Write that kid up. Put him on probation.
well, and again, it was easier to control a segment of America, right? Fear mongering, you know, like, hey, Becky, don't smoke that joint. You're going to be like Sarah here, glued to the couch. No, I want that strain. I want that. Whatever just did
That's
that.
exactly how Gorilla Glue got its name.
I'm telling you, man. But yeah, with the misinformation and the stigma being instilled in people's brains, you know, that's why I think politicians, it's always safer to say no than it is to say, well, perhaps we were wrong this whole time.
Right. Unless, of course, your constituency can make you checks, and then you have the donors, as we like to call them. They like to donate.
Well, that's always been the problem with like America's like the big, well, any government, right? Money's always going to drive policy and shit, which is unfortunate.
It really is. It really is. And let's see, I'm trying to pigeonhole this one into a bumper because like we've kind of gone for a bit. We did a trending and a shit that I wasn't expecting though. This one really isn't history, but I guess it is. Let's do this one as history because it's more data. Another one of the studies has been done. Some more cannabis history has been made again. Cannabis history is made all the time. And so sometimes people ask, well, are they doing enough studies? And it turns out that the 1,455th study has been published. And it turns so yes,
Nice.
marijuana legalization has been linked to reduce drunk driving and safer roads. Study on auto insurance data is suggesting. But of course, why would the auto insurers keep accurate data? It's not like their insurance company, which is at its core just a numbers game. And so they want to make sure that they are pricing their premiums correctly based upon risk.
Yeah.
That was me being sarcastic. Sorry.
Well, don't you think it? I mean, for them, it's all about data, and it's just like the
Actuarial sciences.
yeah, but it's like the seatbelts, right? Like people advocate for seatbelts not because it's better for you, but because it was better for the insurance companies when it came to like claims and shit at the end. Like there was less. That's where that's things change, not sometimes because of it's better for all of us. But
The waste, but think about it.
Yeah.
That means that there should be cheaper auto insurance rates in states where it's legal as opposed to states where it's not. Because when they legalize it, if the price of the insurance is mandated by regulation, and very often sometimes it is, and so if the pool with which you are insuring is safer, it shouldn't be as expensive. And so that I mean, think about how expensive an auto accident / DUI is, because now you have the criminal justice system involved. You have insurance companies involved. You know, you have injuries perhaps to life, property, and people. And so all of those costs, they put the price of the insurance premium up.
Well,
yeah.
What was it? Like I've always said, the most dangerous thing about smoking and driving is packing the bowl.
Well, don't do that then. So let's go into what they've actually found, because this is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
It's history. More of the science data has been done, everybody. The analysis determined that medical cannabis legalizations has reduced auto insurance premiums by 1.5 billion in all states that have currently legalized, with the potential to reduce premiums by an additional 900 million if the remaining states were to legalize, a combined total of 2.4 billion in potential payment reductions for drivers under a nationwide medical cannabis act.
Are you saying federally the roads would be safer?
That's correct. That's what they're saying. They're saying, and then here is a quote from the study itself: our results indicate that legalization and access to medical cannabis positively impacts auto safety.
Yeah, I mean, this craziness that we've seen this already. Like, how many more fucking studies do we need to show like this plant's not going to cause a zombie apocalypse?
Well, here's some more results of this study that has saved Americans over $1 billion so far, because when the state legalizes medical cannabis, it becomes safer to drive. And then more from that study. Our results indicate that the increase in auto safety is due, at least partially, to a decrease in DUI of alcohol. Surprise, surprise.
Right? The gateway, the exit drug.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the exit drug effect. In effect.
Yep. We got some cannabis.
Oh, are we up to the cannabis now? Oh, this one's good. Let's see. I wish that I had some more water, because I'm getting a little hem.
You a little parched?
A little parched.
Want to run and get some?
Yeah. Why don't you hit up, something and fill time, and then do one of those technical difficulties?
Oh, I got you. I wanted to do something anyways. Let's see. I was thinking about doing something later. I hope to, but if not, if I don't get to it, I'm going to do it now. And so I wanted to share a friend of mine's YouTube channel and talk about him and what he's got going on. Here we go.
I got myself an orange soda.
Nice, dude. Hey, so you know Johnny Green, right?
All right. Well, we're losing viewers as it goes. Oh my goodness.
Oh no, all 13 people we just lost.
Hey, that's okay, because now we're going to be talking about the District Court of Massachusetts. Yeah. And so this is a gang recycling their trash type of thing.
Like money laundering?
Correct. Anyway, let's go ahead and do another bumper on that, and then I'll do some how to cannabis. Oh, I double clicked something I wasn't supposed to. All right, let's do this. What up, everybody? It's me, Cannabis Industry Lawyer Tom. You can reach me at Tom at Collateral Base. And today's very special episode of How to Cannabis Bribes. We don't recommend them, but you see them in the industry quite often. Let's talk about it. And we'll also bring on Miggy. Let's see here. I'm going to remove that and add him. Yep. This is from the Justice Department. Coming out of the Justice Department, this was released on June 17th. Associate of former Fall River mayor sentenced for extorting marijuana vendor and making false statements. Now, Massachusetts is similar to New Jersey, and maybe also your state, in the sense that a lot of power has been given to the communities. They are great gatekeepers. Like, they are the gatekeeper. And as a result, sometimes there's grift. Sometimes there's stuff that goes over the line of political contribution. And is it a bribe, perhaps? Should you be recording yourself with all the meetings that you have when you go over that line? And you say, I don't want to pay this, but I got no choice. Who knows?
He bought $12,500 worth of fundraising tickets for 2 of his campaign fundraising. Like, that's some backwards way to funnel some money into shit. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was sentenced to the U.S. Senior District Court to 3 years of probation, because, slap on the wrist and all. Ordered to pay $25,000 a fine and a money judgment of $61,000. And so he he handled the extortion for Correa and demanded the marijuana vendor buy 25 grand, pay $25,000 to his political campaign fund by purchasing 12,500 worth of fundraising tickets and to each of them. So there you go.
That's for mortgage forgiveness. So it looks like $80,000 worth of shit this guy got or gave out. Crazy.
Yes, and this was somebody who was related, an associate and co-conspirator, the former Fall River mayor. The mayor got ensnared into the extortion and also the bribes as the political contributions. And it is election season, and then people are trying to get cannabis licenses in your state, perhaps. So that is a tricky one. What do you do as the license holder? I mean, because maybe you're in a conditional period, or maybe just applying, and that's the way that guy plays ball.
Yeah, well, and then we've heard who's the one with a husband and wife in Florida?
True Leaf. That was a great one. If you guys haven't checked that out, I think it's also on our How to Cannabis playlist. Check that out. But then go to the one like How to Win a Cannabis License for 2022. I'll do another one for 2023 when we're there. But one of the things was the have your spouse do the bribing for you. That was one of the top ways to get a cannabis license. Maybe you shouldn't do the bribes. You have to run the company. Have your spouse do it. And then we talked about True Leaf,
Oh, that's some good shit, man.
Well, that is kind of funny, but then he has to pay real money judgment back, and he's going to be on 3 years of probation. His political career is over. So, to try to get that money, to get that power, in hindsight, really wasn't worth it. But,
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, to your life is crumbling after that. That's crazy. I mean, there's no going after that. Somebody asked me, Okie Sean asked me what year I became an advocate. I just want to say I helped collect signatures for Prop 215.
So that was a while ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It's been a while. Prop 215, I want to say 1996. And so if you were doing signatures, 1995 or before, maybe.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. I answered the ad in the paper. That's how I got that little gig, because I had long hair down the middle of my back and no cares, no worry, and good abs.
Well, that very frequently corresponds to somebody in their 20s.
Yeah, I was like 18, 19.
And also teenagers, I forgot to mention.
Yeah. Oh shit, man.
Yeah, so that's one of the things, watch out for that in business, especially the cannabis business where you have the dual licensing structure and you have all this very, very local things, and all those people are running for political office, which is very expensive, by the way. So there's that fine line between a political contribution and, extortion.
No shit. I mean, there's ways to do it. That's it.
There's ways to do it, and that's one of the reasons, go ahead and document them business records in the collateral base. We'll help you do it over at collateralbase.com. One of the things that you get as part of the software as a service is the ability to make all the corporate resolutions and meeting minutes that you want. So just have those meeting minutes, do the corporate resolutions, document that stuff, because then later, if somebody's auditing you, and the IRS probably will audit you, and then that might lead to these types of things, and you'll be like, well, why did you spend all that money on these political contributions? Get the meeting minutes. And so I felt like I had no choice in my business judgment. I needed the license versus not having the license. It's very bad for my business to not have the license.
Yeah. No shit. I mean, that's just, again, business. We're talking, if you're looking to do this, you better have already $500,000, right, set aside somewhere.
Oh, it's expensive industry. And so, like, depending on where you are, even if you're in Oklahoma, even if you're opening if you're opening a restaurant, I'd still say you should probably be budgeting at least $500,000. But, everybody likes to cut corners or chintz or not have enough capital. Those are the ones that fail. It might actually be why 3 out of 5, isn't it? It's like 66% or 60% of businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Yeah, let alone cannabis with all the hurdles they have to go through.
And the regulatory compliance, it's another reason why they lose money.
Yep.
The taxes. Issues, the taxes, but then also the compliance costs that are put on their back. So when they go from Illinois to operating into Michigan, you just doubled the complexity of the regulatory landscape that you're dealing with.
Yeah. Again, lab regulation is plant regulation. That's all we need.
Federal regulation. Like, this is the first year that we have federal regulations for the cultivation of hemp.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot easier. when there's rules. One rule, not 50 rules, one, you know?
Federally too, for all the interstate commerce for these guys. So yeah, good luck to you, Delta 8 and CBD and CBN. Hopefully it's all 100% plant extract, not synthetic.
Well, that's the only one you have the umbrage, the coverage for, is the natural extraction. And in our legal opinion letters that we like to sell, we explain the difference. And so we use, Dr. Michel's work at Hebrew University, and we talk about how he has made synthetic cannabinoids in the lab. And we talk about HB-210, which of course is a synthetic cannabinoid that he invented in a lab in Israel. And that's what HB is, like Hebrew University or something. And then maybe it's HU-210. And the differences of what a naturally derived, and then there's the way they defined hemp was huge and very broad. And then the case in the Ninth Circuit, the 8K futures case, they just read it straight. And so if the cannabinoid product arose from the hemp plant, you should have protections.
Hopefully, just get a lawyer like Tom.
Yeah, that's if you're in the cannabis industry, hire a lawyer and an accountant
like Tom.
And well, I'm not an accountant.
No, you're a lawyer, but you got but you know accountants.
I do make referrals, but I also always like to cover my ass, because then I'm like, while I do understand this particular provision of the Internal Revenue Code, I am not a tax lawyer. Yeah, make a referral. So anything else that we got to discuss for the good of the wonderful people that are tuning in, and our members and then our viewers and the people that download and take us on the podcast, and then of course those nice people that have given us 5-star reviews and then mean tweeted us mercilessly.
Now I might try and do I want to do another video again, probably later today, maybe tomorrow. But I've been trying to, again, it's all about, like, I know a lot of videos in my head that I want to do, but this one in particular, I'd like to do highlights, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we got to do the puns, but I'd like to highlight some other, what do you call it, content creators. So look for that. I'll be live again. And when you see the thing, it will just be a local one live, not a pre-recorded thing. And thanks for joining us, man. All 101 so far today.
Yep, 101. See you on Sunday. I think we're still looking for a guest, but I'm going to get back to work. I got some complaints that are due by July 7th.
Yep. Get those SOPs done.
Oh, yeah. Get them done. See you soon, guys.
Bye. All right. Brown chicken brown.